The lighting is, oh, the sun is like right out. Oh, let me try. And now I'm in shade. Yeah, well, that's a little bit better. We just have like this side of my face. Oh, that's even better. The sun is right out today, if you can't tell. And welcome to a new reading vlog. It's week 2 of the book Junkie trials. I'm just moving my car at work. I've edited yesterday's vlog. It's currently processing. And I've done some fiddling around with some end cards, and I have free time at work. So I've been fiddling around with some end cards and some new thumbnail options. You might be seeing those already or soon. I'm currently overheating in my coat, but it's not that hot today. It's just that the sun is freaking bright. I'm hoping to finish King of Fools today or tomorrow. I think it might be tomorrow, depending on how much of Heartforger I decide to read today and how busy I get today. We may or may not be doing games tonight, so we'll see. And I'm kind of hoping Wilder Girls comes in a day early at the bookstore. I'm keeping an eye out on the website. So we'll see. Oh, I really hope it arrives tomorrow if it doesn't arrive today, because I just want to start. So we ended up playing board games tonight, so I've done like hardly any reading. What did I do? I read 70 pages of King of Fools, so I'm that far through. So I'm almost done. I have like 110 pages left. I read the next story in Kindred, which was called Light Bulb. It was really dark. It looked at anxiety and depression, and a vague hint on gender stuff. I think you could maybe consider the main character non-binary. And yeah, it definitely dealt a lot with depression and anxiety, and in a really dark way. It was pretty intense. I think I would give it a 4 stars, maybe 3.75 kind of area. Though I honestly do think it could be triggering to some people. It wasn't to me, but I think it could. I also read 40 pages of The Heartforger, but it's now 10:30, so I'm going to go to bed. We played, what did we play? We played Sherlock. Like 221 Baker Street, which is like a clue game. It's really fun. And we watched Glee. So that was my evening. I am hoping Wilder Girls will come in at work tomorrow. I'm going to read obviously the next story in Kindred tomorrow, which is called Waiting, and it's by Jen Wilde. And I'm going to try and finish the last of this 70-page section of Heartforger tomorrow morning, as I'm eating my breakfast, hopefully, which will be that 70-page section that I can mark off. I also read a large chunk of Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno today on audiobook. That's my current audiobook, and I'm this close to finishing it, so I'll definitely finish that tomorrow. I had a really heartfelt moment with this book. I was like in tears in the car, waiting at the supermarket. Just like, I forget how much heartbreak a contemporary can make me feel. I don't read a lot of contemporary. If you check out like my Goodreads, the vast majority of stuff is like fantasy, dystopian, sci-fi. Contemporary is a small component, but when I read them, I tend to really like them. And this was one of those that I just really liked. It was really nice. Obviously, I haven't quite finished, but I'm almost there. I'll definitely finish that tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be starting Wilder Girls tomorrow. What else is on the cards? I have quite a bit of work tomorrow. Day job, 2 shifts of the other job, a little bit of time in between. But I'm going to try and get as much read as I can during the course of the day. It'll definitely be a better reading day than today. Alright, See you tomorrow. Good morning, I'm about to go to work. I'm running a little bit late because Sissy insisted on having the biggest pat of her life. It was a miracle. I didn't end up reading anything during eating my breakfast like I said I would last night. We should have known it was never going to happen, but I have packed both Heart Forger and King of Fools into my work bag, and I will alternate which ones I take into the office. I'll probably have to move my car a few times during the day, I'm sure. I'm going to try and finish Heart Forger in my breaks at work, and then I'll take King of Fools in with me to my afternoon shift at my care job, is the plan. I really hope Wild Girls arrives at the bookstore today. I did call them yesterday and they've put a hold on for me, so that as soon as it arrives I will get a call. I mean a text, not a call. They'll just text me, so I'll know to go pick it up. And they were expecting one hopefully today. Hopefully not too late in the day because I have to leave for the care job at 4. So I'm really hoping it arrives. Oh, I just really want to get started on it. But I'm also going to make time to read Kindred today. I think I'll actually be able to read a good amount just because I have so much care work, and I tend to get more reading done there than I do at home, because at home I always end up like watching Glee or something with the boys. So I do have one story. I want to read another story in here. It's only a short one though, 170 to 155. That's only like 15 pages. So that should be breezy to get through. I've already packed the other 2 books, but let's get going so I'm not any later to work than I already am. So, it's been a long day. I have been decently busy with work, so that's why I keep forgetting. I hadn't found time to update you till like now, when I'm gonna go to bed soon, when I'm at work. Despite being super busy with work, somehow read a literal fuck ton today. I read 250 physical pages and about a full audiobook. What is happening to me? So, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy end to the day clip, but we'll go through everything I read and what I thought of it. So, first off, I finished listening to the last little section of Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. I loved it. It was amazing. I gave it a 4.75 stars. I love a contemporary that has strong threads of multiple plot points and multiple connections and multiple themes and things. Like my main gripe with a lot of YA contemporaries is that there's not enough elements. This did not suffer from that problem. There was a good sense of family, friendships, connection to place. My only minor thing that I included in my Goodreads review that knocked it from a 5 stars to a 4.75 was that I thought that the setting of Port Coral was really well developed, but we spend a little time in Havana as well, and I felt like there just wasn't enough time spent in Havana to really develop that setting. That was literally my only problem. I love Rosa Santos. I love her relationships to the other people in her town. I felt for her so much. Oh my god, I loved this. Read this, it's amazing. And then during the day I also listened to 70% of Magic for Liars by, is it Sarah Gailey? Somebody Gailey. This I am loving so much. It's a like noir fantasy, which has a lot of Unkindness and Magicians vibes. It's about a girl whose twin sister is magical, and like went away to magic school, and she became a private detective, the non-magic one, and then she's called in to solve this magical murder. It is amazing. I'm 70% through. Like I literally flew through it. I couldn't put it down all day as I was doing data entry tasks. I just absorbed it. It was so good. What I've read so far. I'm so excited for the end, which I will definitely be finishing tomorrow. Then I also finished King of Fools by Amanda Fruity, which I've been reading for like a week and a half now. Loved it. I think it's going to be more like 4 stars. I think the ending was strong but very fast, and there are a few little elements I was a little confused about that I'm interested to see how they play out in book 3. But overall, I think the stakes were really high and everything was really good. This is a long book, but I don't know if it needs to be. Plot-wise, I think there was a lot of filler, but it did a lot to get us from end of book 1 to where we need to be for book 3. So it has a bit of second book syndrome in that way. But the slow burn romance, solid as always. The like careful manipulations, great. Loved it. I enjoyed my time. I'm glad it's done because it's taken me so long, but I had a really good time reading it. I'm also really close to finished on The Heart Forger. I only have 60 pages left. I'm enjoying the ending more than I enjoyed the start and the middle, but I still think it's going to be a 3 stars, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I'm definitely going to be finishing that tomorrow. I just feel like, I still feel like the 2 points of view are a little disconnected. And yeah, it makes it hard to connect to the characters. And then I also read the next story in Kindred. This one was called Waiting by Jen Wild. And I really enjoyed it. It has autism rep, queer rep, fandom culture rep. Is that rep? Probably not. And it looked at like abusive friendships, kind of like abusive, like one-way toxic friendships. And I just really loved it. It was really sweet. I think I'd give it a 5 stars. It was great, subtle, simple, but really lovely. I really liked it. So I read that as well. I also have read the first 70 pages of Wild Girls. I'm reading it on my phone because I'm too impatient. So my copy still hasn't arrived, but I'm reading it on my phone. And I am loving it. Oh, it's so good. So I'm hoping to finish Heart Forger and Magic for Liars tomorrow. I'll start my next audiobook, which is going to be The Alchemist by Michael Scott, which wasn't on my TBR, but it's going to kind of be taking the place of Clariel, which was on my TBR, but I don't think I'm going to get around to it, and I don't feel motivated to pick it up at the moment, so I'm going to pick up The Alchemist instead, which fulfills the challenge. It's a TBR veteran. So I'm going to listen to that on audiobook because there is an audiobook for it. And then, what else did I have? I want to finish Wild Girls by the end of the week. My schedule is to finish on Saturday. Kindred, I'll finish probably on Saturday. I also want to start, hopefully tomorrow, 7 Surrenders and Deviate. No, it's not Deviate. Deceptive by Emily Lloyd-Jones, which hopefully I can get a really good way through over the weekend. It's still only Tuesday night. There's heaps of time. I hope maybe I'll even finish them on the weekend. I doubt it. But I would love to get a good way through them on the weekend so that I can finish them early next week. But I'm definitely going to finish Kindred and Wild Girls by the end of the week, as well as those other 2 that I'll be finishing tomorrow, and the 2 I finished today. And I finished, no, that's all I finished. I didn't finish anything else this week. Yeah, Don't Date Rosa Santos, Magic for Liars, King of Fools, Heart Forger, Kindred, and Wild Girls. That's 6 things. And then hopefully on the weekend I'll also start Space Opera. So hopefully by the end of the weekend I should have on the go 7 Surrenders, Deceptive, Space Opera, The Alchemist as my 4. We'll see how we go. Alright, so I just shot some probably actually terrible Instagram photos. Because the day is like weirdly bright but also overcast. Oh, sorry. Weirdly bright but also overcast. So I'm pretty sure the shadows on my phone when I was taking the photos were awful. So I was trying to take photos on the camera of my audiobooks, and I'm pretty sure the lighting was awful, but we'll see what we can do in editing to make them a little bit less awful. I'm just finished one lot of shifts and I'm about to go into other work, and we'll see how much I get read today. I'm really hopeful to finish Magic for Liars, Heartforger, read the next section in Kindred, and read a section of Wild Girls is the plan. It's pretty gloomy outside, but I've put the overhead light on, so hopefully this lighting isn't too awful. I just got back from the bookstore after work and I picked up Wild Girls. I'm so excited. This is one of my most anticipated reads. This is probably maybe my most anticipated read of the month. Obviously I started an ebook last night, so I'm about 70 pages through, just under 70 pages through. I'm going to read another 60 pages tonight. I also have on the cards 60 pages, which is the final 60 pages of Heartforger, then that's done, and 30 pages of Kindred. So that's the plan. And I finished today Magic for Liars, like I said I would. I expected I would. I loved it. It was so good. Fantasy noir mystery, familial issues, kind of like a boarding school dynamic. It was so good. If you like dark academia, magic school, mysteries, you will love this. It was so good. I will probably end up giving it a 5 stars, but we'll see how it like comes out in the wash when I actually do my written review. But for now, we do have yoga in an hour or so. What time is it? It's 4:45. We have yoga at 7:15. So I'm gonna get some reading in now, and I'm going to work on the Heartforger to finish that today as my priority. So did I entirely forget to do an update last night before I fell asleep, or this morning? Yes. Do I have much to update on? No. I did finish yesterday's section in Kindred, which was called, let me check, Laura Nairo at the Wedding is what it's called. And we follow Paul and Jack, and they've kind of got engaged very low-key, but Jack's father is a convicted pedophile, I guess, but in one of those scenarios where he fell in love with one of his students and she was 16 and he was a teacher in his 20s. So definitely inappropriate. He went to prison, so on and so forth. But it's kind of about Jack trying to figure out like how to reconnect with his father and like how to bridge gaps that the rest of his family have kind of enforced upon him and his dad, if that makes sense, in the context of him and his partner getting engaged. The next one is, and that was by Christos Selkas, I think that's how you pronounce his surname. The next one's called Each City by Ellen Van Neven. I'm going to be reading that today. I did finish yesterday's section of Wild Girls, but I ended up finishing it this morning. So I still have 80 pages to go today, but I did read like 30 pages this morning to finish yesterday's section. So I'm going to work on that now. We've got yoga again tonight. So I did finish work a tiny bit early, so I'm going to settle down and do some reading. I'm going to start with Wild Girls and then cut across to the next story in Kindred. And then there's 2 new things I'm going to be starting, hopefully both today if I can manage it, but you never know with me. I want to read 60 pages if I can of Deceptive by Emily Lloyd-Jones, which is the sequel to Elusive, and also 50 pages if I can of Seven Surrenders by Ada Palmer. This is probably the one that's not going to happen. I really want to get to Deceptive, so we'll see. I feel cheated. I'm watching Lala here, so that's fun.
Girls
love Kayla.
like college.
Oh my god, turn it off. Well, I update you. I bought McNuggets on my way home. 6 chicken McNuggets. To dip or not to dip implies there should be dip, right? There was no sauce in the bag. Let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 nuggets. This says 6. This should be 6 nuggets. Okay, so let's do an update. It is the next day. I'm still in my coat because I'm only wearing a t-shirt underneath, but it's cold in the house. I don't know where my hoodie is. So we're in that stage of life. I just ate Macca's, as you saw, because I was freaking hungry. I had a workshop today. I had a really quick lunch in the middle of the workshop and it was not satisfying at all. I hate that for me. But I did want to do 2 updates. One is of a package I got. I've already opened it, so I'm not going to show you me opening it. But it was this, which is Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling, and obviously a lovely book depository bookmark. This is, I actually got this through the coolest way. So I signed up to be a Patreon supporter of LGBTQ+ Reads, which I think is run by Dahlia Adler, or she's got a key role in it. And if you're I think it's $25 a month patron, or US, you get, there was a limited number of them, and you get a, like, catered book selection delivered to you. So she chats to you through Patreon for a while. And you together come to a conclusion of a book you'd like to be sent. So it's kind of like a subscription service, but you get to personalize what you would like to get. And through some chatting, we came to this one. I was looking for something a little contemporary-esque, a little bit fantasy. I've been loving witchy vibes lately, so this was our pick. So I don't know a whole lot about it other than obviously witches. And I'm really into witches at the moment. Just as in like a book sphere. It's not super long. It's only 320 pages. It's kind of contemporary-esque, like high school feeling. Suspenseful, delightful, sweet romance, thrilling mystery. I'm super excited. I'm going to try and read this in August for the newts is my current plan. So let's talk about how last night's reading went. I can't remember what exactly I was up to when I updated you last night, but I'm currently, and I haven't read any today, 211 pages into Wilder Girls by Rory Powell, which I'm loving. I love the characters. I think they're so cool and interesting. The mystery I'm really enjoying. I have some theories, but I don't know if they're correct. I just, oh, it's so cutthroat and gory, but I love it. It's so good. I'm really enjoying this. I'm definitely going to read the next 70 pages tonight, and then we'll be finishing it tomorrow because I'm so excited. I also read the next story in Kindred, which was Each City, I think it was called, yes, by Ellen Van Neven. Which I really, really enjoyed. I'm giving that short story a 5 stars. I think it's about a near future where activism is kind of like we're going into police state extremes, and activism is really, what the fuck? Ma'am, why did you think that was a good idea? Baby! Baby! Trixie! What are you doing? Why did you think getting on top of the cupboard was a good idea? Tell me, why? Why did you think it was a good idea? Do you need help getting down? You can't just... I don't trust you to just jump down. Do you need help? Oh my gosh. She just freaking, I'm zoomed right in. She just freaking dived for it. She didn't even let me help her. So I think it looked at this kind of activism kind of thing and really explored like what it means to be taken from country. Ellen Van Nieven's an Indigenous author. What it takes to be, what it means to be taken from country forcibly, and like a lot of those like systemic familial traumas and things, and I really liked it. So the next one is An Arab Werewolf in Liverpool by Omar Sakar. I'm going to be reading that tonight, but I haven't started it yet. I also read 60 pages of Deceptive by Emily Lloyd Jones. I'm just getting into this, so I don't really know how I feel yet. I did like that because there was a decent amount of time between book 1 and book 2. It gave a good overview, I guess, of what book 2 is about in the start. Like, it kind of delved into that a little. Oh my god, my angle's so awful. I'm going to try and read a bit more of Deceptive tonight, and we'll see how that goes, what is happening in the next 60 pages. And the other thing I've been reading is 7 Surrenders. I'm currently 44 pages into this, so I didn't finish it last night. I read like 20 pages I think last night, but I'm going to finish yesterday's section and today's section of this now, which should get me to 100 pages before I start Wilder Girls for the night. So that is my plan. If I don't get to any of Deceptive today, that's alright. I'll make it up over the weekend for sure. So I'm going to sit down and read this now. So I just finished the first 60 pages of 7 Surrenders. Let me zoom out of it. What? I just finished the first 60 pages of 7 Surrenders. And God, I forgot how pretentious this series is. It's very like, you have to know some things to get some references, and it's very, look, I look like I have a, if you look at the front, I look like I have a nose piercing. No, it's just a cat scratch. I hate my cat. Yeah, it has all these references that like are layered upon each other and have all these layers of meaning that aren't always explained. So for me, a dum-dum, I'm not that much of a dum-dum. I'm like a medium dum-dum. Like, I get some things that are really obvious, but I feel like there are so many layers I don't understand in this series. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy it, because it's a fascinating mystery. And I love absorbing all the information, but it's so weird. It has so many complicated layers that it's just really hard to understand. So basically, this series follows a future that has reflections of our current society, but also a lot of major changes. Like it's meant to take place in the year 2454. So we're like 420 years in the future, 430 years in the future. So things have dramatically changed. If you think just like 200 years ago, we were in the 1800s, and that was a dramatic change to now. So things have dramatically changed. And we also are following primarily the most influential people in the society. We're not following ordinary citizens. We're following like the top people and the people who manipulate and influence the top people. So imagine like a modern day story following all the political leaders of Europe and all the rich business owners and stakeholders that manipulate and influence all those political leaders. It's like that, but on a scale out of this world. So in this future, you can get everywhere within like a 2-hour car ride all across the world on like hover cars. So everyone is kind of, there's no sense of continents or anything anymore, or countries even. You belong to your country and like the 10th identity you have. So your primary identity is your hive. And there's like 7 or something hives, which is kind of like your philosophy. And you might raise a child in your house, which kind of has like a family component, but you can bring people into your family. If you've read Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, it's kind of like the Andrisk Society, where they have different kind of families for different parts of their lives. But they call it a bash. which is your house, which could have you, friends, lovers, cousins, relatives. You could be blood related, you might not all be blood related. You could be bar siblings or best siblings, which are like people of the same generation, I guess, living together, same hierarchy in the house. Bar parents, like a bar pa and a bar ma. Bar sibs is the siblings. Bar children. And that is a kind of like self-made family of a sort. It's not limited by blood. And we follow some big bash houses politically that have lots of power, not necessarily positions of standing, if that makes sense. And we're following kind of their everyday life, so it's sometimes hard to see how they have power and how they play in together, but they all hold things over one another, and it's all this complex political kind of thing. Also, gender is a little bit messed with in this, so they're meant to be post-feminism, as in feminism's done its job and we can stop with it now. So they avoid gender. You should, neutral is the preferred societal norm. So everyone's like neither male nor female. So kind of non-binary scenario. But there's an inkling of like gender as a fetish and gender being used for power. But our narrator kind of allocates genders to people because he's writing in this like archaic style for the time, because he's trying to be like pretentious and shit. So he writes in an archaic style, which kind of feels like 1800s kind of writing, and he assigns gender to people that they wouldn't use in their everyday life based on the way they wield dominance and power in a kind of very archaic way, and it's not related to their physical attributes at all. So one of the main characters is referred to as she, but has a penis, and one of the men has breasts, but it's more about the role they take on. So it's he kind of goes against the idea of the penis inheriting the power, but he inherits the power. So he provides gender for people, which adds a whole nother layer of complicatedness, in a way that I think the whole point is that you shouldn't find it complicated, but it should be a like critique. It's complicated to comprehend, but when you're reading it kind of makes sense. And really it's this whole mystery over this power struggle, and who's implementing power, and there's a whole lot of talk on religion, and it's complicated and pretentious. Like, I feel like I'm like mid-level. I'm not surface level reading, but I'm like just dipping into the depth of complicatedness that is in this book. And I also find it sometimes really hard to get through. Like this last chapter, we were following two characters, one who talks in kind of a current kind of language, really easy to read and fly through, and then the other one, just because he can, talks in like thous and these, which is really stop-starty for me. I can't read it very fast. That's just these two particular characters. There's a lot of characters, and there is at the start of this one, because they get slowly introduced in book one. At the start of book two, there's a like dramatis persona, so that you can kind of keep track of everything. Yeah, I think if you're a kind of person that finds world building and sci-fi and fantasy tough, and you're like, I just don't understand what's going on, I'm so confused, don't read this book. Your girl is not a person that struggles with fantasy world building normally whatsoever. Same with sci-fi. Normally I can get what's going on pretty alright, especially in a full format book. this is freaking weird. It's a bit messed up. It's also really gory and really, I don't want to say rapey, because it's not rapey, but it has a lot of explicit sex, a lot of explicit violence. So be aware of that if you're reading this series, if you want to read this series. I think because I have to really focus on reading it, I'm going to read the next 40 pages now before anyone gets home, because other things I could read while watching TV or whatever. This I can't, because it's hard work. I have to really think about it, so I'm going to read the next 40 pages now, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so I like totally failed at reading tonight. I did finish the next 40 pages of Seven Surrenders, but it literally took me like all afternoon, like into after dinner. I cooked pie and roast veggies for dinner, and ate, and while we were eating we watched Glee, and then we continued to watch Glee, and I had the last couple of days been reading while watching Glee, but I got the can't be bothered and never left the couch. So I did end up finishing the last of that section of Seven Surrenders, so I'm now 100 pages in. I'm enjoying it. Again, it was super pretentious, but I'm enjoying it. I also read the next story in Kindred, which was, what was it called? An Arab Werewolf in Liverpool? Yes. I would give An Arab Werewolf in Liverpool 3 stars. I liked it. But I feel like it didn't have a strong narrative arc. I didn't really get the point. I know not all short stories need a point, but it just kind of, I feel like I missed a metaphor somewhere. Maybe if I knew more about Arabic culture, I would get it. Maybe. But I just feel like I missed a point. It was cool. Interesting. Enjoyed reading it. It was not my favorite, so I got a 3 stars, so there's only 2 more left. I might finish both tomorrow even, I'm not sure, but I didn't get to any of Wilder Girls yesterday. Today didn't get to any of Wilder Girls today, so my plan for tomorrow, I have work at 7 in the evening, but I have most of the day free and I'll be able to read at work. So my plan is to get up decently early. I'll start on Wilder Girls, read 70 pages, read the next story in Kindred, go back to Wilder Girls and finish it, like the last 70 pages, then read some of Deceptive, and then finish Kindred, and then either some of Seven Surrenders or some of Deceptive. We'll see. I'd also love to start Space Opera tomorrow, but I feel like that's a lot on my plate. I don't know if I'll get that done. Who knows? I definitely want to finish Wilder Girls, and I want to kind of, like, I'd love to get 2 sections of Deceptive and 1 section of Seven Surrenders read, but we'll see what happens. We will see. So I've just eaten some food, breakfast. It's Saturday morning. I thought earlier in the week that I had to work today, like during the day today, but it ended up not happening, which is great, but it does mean I don't get Monday off. Oh well. I'm just sitting down to read Wild Girls, and I will tell you my thoughts when I'm done. I've got 140 pages left. That's yesterday's section and today's section, and I think I can absolutely slam through that because I'm loving this so far. So I'll let you know when I'm at the 70 page mark, because I'll switch over and read a section of Kindred and I'll update you on that. But it's reading time. It is currently 9:37. 9:37. There we go. My phone is altogether too bright for the camera, but I'm gonna get to reading and I will let you know how I progress. I have work at 7 PM tonight, but I can read at work, so that is not the end of my reading time. I want to go buy another book, but grab another book from my bedside table. But this cutie is on my lap. Sorry. Sorry. My sister is hanging down here. Evilly. Oh, okay, I'm free now. Never mind. I'm free now. She's freed me. So I have finished the section of Wild Girls. I'm about to start the short story in Kindred. Things happened in that section. It was intense. Yeah. I am emotional. I should get up in a shower soon. Like, so I just finished the next story in Kindred. I didn't really like this one that much. I think I give it a 2.53 stars. It was called Stormlines by Alison Evans. I feel like I can smell pee. Yeah, it wasn't super interesting. Look at Sissy, like, look at her. That's her face. Hi, hi. She's so cute. Yeah, I just didn't love it. It was alright. So I have one story left in this. But I'm gonna do some Instagram photo stuff and then, oh, first of all, get dressed, probably eat lunch, then do some Instagram photo stuff, and then I'll go back and finish Wild Girls. Yeah. Okay, so I finished Wild Girls. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh my, it's just so good. So, recap of what Wild Girls is kind of about. We follow Hetty, Reese, and Byatt. Sorry, my bed is super creaky today. Mainly we follow from Hetty's perspective, and they live on like a boarding school island that has been overrun by the Tox, which was kind of like a disease, I guess, that sweeps through them. They all have different symptoms, but it's normally bodily. So Hetty is missing an eye, or not missing an eye, she had one of her eyes close over, and so like scabby and gross. Byatt has a second spine that like pushes out of her back. It's very body horror. It's like a large component. Reese has a scaled hand and luminescent hair, and all the girls have weird things going on. And they have these like regular flare-ups where they often get new symptoms or whatever. And they're kind of isolated. They get food dropped off on the weekly, but it's not a whole lot. They're dying. They've got to protect themselves from the animals in the forest around them, which also have been affected by the tox, but they lose a lot of their normal nature in that. They become really super vicious. So they're all hyper aware of the forest. The trees grow really rapidly. It's very, very creepy. So it's a bunch of girls in a boarding school trapped together. And they've all kind of settled into their role because it's like 2 years later. They've been there for a while now and they're all like settled into their roles. But then some things happen that kind of set in motion a lot of changes and a lot of info about what the tox even is and why it's affecting them, etc, etc. So good. The atmosphere horror components are well done. I do better reading horror than I do watching it, because my biggest thing in horror movies is jump scares. I don't like jump scares. So you can't get a jump scare in a book. The tension and atmosphere was so good. So gritty and eerie and kind of gross, but amazing. Like really well done. And the mystery was great. The pacing was good. I really liked the characters. We have some, like, a lot of the girls are pretty queer. Nothing's like explicitly carefully laid out on paper, but it's all very clear. Like there's one male character, two men in the whole story, both of them are side characters that barely get much say or agency. So it's really a female dominated story with some queer relationships, lots of girl friendships. It's so good. I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars, but I haven't written my review yet, so I don't know if there's things I'll think of that will drag some of my components down. We'll see. I'm now gonna sit and read the final story in Kindred. which is the Benjamin Law story. It's called Questions to Ask Straight Relatives. I'm excited about it. Hopefully I really like it. I had this collection as tearjerker for Weeping Falls in the Book Junkie trials. It didn't make me cry so far, though this last one might. But I think it did have some really impactful stories, so we're going to count it for that because I hardly cry books anyway. Also, because Wild Girls was next on my barred path and was for the gruesome, gory, gritty. I can't remember what it was. The next one is, let me just have a look. I'll grab out my little notebook. So it was for the Hollow Isle, which is atmospherical horror. Sorry, not gritty, gruesome. That's a different one. Yeah, that was the Heart Forger. The Hollow Isles and the atmospherical horror was Wilder Girls. Now that I finished that, I can go into the third book in my barred path, which is The Empty Barrel Inn, an indulgent read. And for that, I'm going to be reading Space Opera by Catherine Valente. And this is also for the barred weakness, which is something featuring musical poetry. Obviously, this is Eurovision in space, so it definitely features music. So that's that component. I haven't had any DNFs so far, so I haven't used my bard power, like benefit, but this is for my bard weakness. So I might start that today as well, but for now I'm going to finish Kindred. It is 1:30 in the morning and I'm about to go to sleep, but I just wanted to update you on what I ended up reading this afternoon and tonight. Not as much as I'd hoped, but not bad at all. Like, I've read a lot today. I ended up reading 120 pages of Deceptive. So that was 2 sections, yesterday's section and today's section. I also read 50 pages of 7 Surrenders, which was today's section. So I'm all up to date on that. I didn't end up getting around to any of Space Opera. So tomorrow my minimum plan, and I'm a little bit busy, is to read 1 section of Deceptive, 1 section of 7 Surrenders, and 1 section of Space Opera, which is in here. And then ideally read a 2nd section of at least 2 of those. All 3 would be great, but I don't think it would happen because I'm a bit busy. But maybe 2 of Deceptive, 2 of 7 Surrenders, and then rely on myself just being a regular ninny to read Space Opera in a reasonable time. Like, I'll be prioritizing that every day anyway, so maybe I need to work on doing like double of Deceptive and double of 7 Surrenders. And that way, if during the week there's any days that I can only read one or the other and I can't get both done, I'm still going to be on my, like I set a little thing for myself of reading those within a week, like in exactly a week, so that would keep me on track, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed because I am sleepy, and I will see you tomorrow, my friends. So I am still in my PJs, but I've eaten some food. I'm gonna go shower, wash my hair, so finish that booze. It is like midday Sunday. I finished work, but I have working at 4:35. And we're going to a show at 2. So I was vaguely considering filming a video today, but it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna shower, read 70 pages of Space Opera because I didn't get to do that yesterday, and go from there. So final update for this week's reading vlog. I didn't really vlog much today. I was at work, and then I had like a little bit of time to shower and read, and then we went to Jesse's little brother's show, and then I came straight back to work. So I've been pretty busy, but I have read 70 pages of Space Opera, which I'm really enjoying. It's so funny. It's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy meets Eurovision, and it's amazing. I've also read 50 pages today of 7 Surrenders, which I'm also really enjoying, and I'm surprised how much detail I remembered from book 1. Like, I'm not horribly confused, and I was scared I might have been. And I've also read 60 pages of Deceptive, which is also really enjoyable, though I think I would have benefited from having reread book 1, but I'm still enjoying it. Tonight, or technically tomorrow, at 5 AM is the competitive trials run of the Book Junkie trials. We'll see if I can manage to pull myself together to wake up for that, but I will let you know in the next week's reading vlog. I hope you're having a good time. Let me know how your progress for the Book Junkie trials is going, and I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!